Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Neville. This is Neville Media Inc. Thank you very much for tuning in, and without any waste of time, let's get to this video. What happens when a forensic investigator walks into Parliament under heavy security and publicly says two of South Africa's top police officials belong in prison? What happens when that same man is then accused of being funded by crime intelligence secret funds, of infiltrating IPID, of possibly being a foreign spy? And what happens when Parliament hasn't even fully begun interrogating his testimony? On today's video, we break down the Paul O'Sullivan storm that has shaken the SAPS, the Parliament, and possibly the presidency itself. This is about power, police, politics, and who controls the truth. February 10, Parliament tightens security. Access is restricted, police presence is increased. Paul O'Sullivan arrived to testify before the Ad hoc Committee investigating serious allegations involving SAPS leadership. This was not an ordinary appearance. This was treated like a high-risk operation. Want to know why? Because Paul O'Sullivan was expected to make explosive claims, and he did not disappoint. He insisted that KZN Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi and National Police Commissioner Fannie Masemola belong in prison. That's not subtle, that's nuclear. He told Parliament he had evidence. He accused senior officials of corruption. He questioned their conduct. He even raised concerns about alleged links involving controversial figures connected to police, procurement, and corruption networks. And then he went even further. In a surprising twist, O'Sullivan detailed how he once trained President Cyril Ramaphosa as a police reservist. That revelation stunned so many people within the country, including me, of course. And why mention that? Was it credibility? Was it a reminder of proximity to power, or was it a message? Because when you say, I trained the president, you are positioning yourself as someone embedded inside the system and not outside of the system. But that proximity to power would soon come back to haunt him. The day after his testimony, the narrative shifted. Suddenly, questions weren't only about SAPS leadership. They were about Paul O'Sullivan himself. He was accused of receiving money from crime intelligence secret funds. Now, let that sink in. The same crime intelligence structures that have been implicated in past scandals. Secret slush funds, covert operations, now allegedly funding the men accusing the top cops of corruption. If true, that changes everything. But if that is false, it's character assassination. O'Sullivan denied it. Flatly, he denied receiving foreign funding, he denied being a foreign agent, he denied infiltrating IPID. He rejected allegations that he was part of some hidden intelligence network. In Parliament, he declared, I am loyal to South Africa. Those were strong words, but the damage was already done. Because now, instead of one story, we have two competing narratives. Some critics suggested O'Sullivan may have foreign intelligence links. Others questioned whether he had unique undue influence within oversight bodies like IPID. He pushed back very hard, saying the allegations were desperate attempts to silence him. But here's where it gets interesting. An opinion piece even suggested that the mighty O'Sullivan might not be so mighty after all, that perhaps his influence has been overstated, that perhaps the political tide is turning. And here's the bigger question. Is this about corruption, or is this about power struggle inside the security cluster? Because whenever intelligence structures are mentioned, whenever secret funds are mentioned, whenever foreign spy allegations are mentioned, we are no longer in ordinary politics. We are in deep state territory. Now, here's the twist. Despite all the drama, despite all the heavy security, despite the explosive claims, Parliamentary Adhoc Committee has yet to fully explore or interrogate O'Sullivan's testimony. Now, let that sink in. The bomb was already dropped, but it hadn't been detonated. No deep cross-examination yet, no full unpacking of the evidence, no comprehensive response from all implicated parties under the same level of scrutiny. So what was that first appearance? A warning shot, a political test balloon, or a strategic move in a much bigger chess game? O'Sullivan also questioned General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's silence regarding alleged corruption involving procurement matters. Why the silence? Why no public counterattack? In politics and policing, silence can mean many things: strategic restraints, legal advice, or internal negotiations happening behind closed doors. When senior police leadership and forensic investigators clash publicly, the real battle often happens off cameras. Now, let's zoom in. You have allegations of corruption at the highest level of SAPS. You have claims of secret intelligence funds. You have allegations of foreign influence. And you have parliament under pressure and proximity to the presidency. This doesn't look like a simple whistleblower story. This looks like a factional warfare. And in South Africa, when security structures are fighting internally, history tells us something important. There are always political consequences. Is this about cleaning up corruption, or is it about who controls crime intelligence, who controls procurement, who controls investigations? Because control of intelligence structures is control of power, and power in South Africa is never uncontested. Right now, we don't have the final answers. We have allegations, denials, counter allegations, and a parliament that has yet to fully unpack what was placed before it. But here's what we do know. This story is not finished. If O'Sullivan is telling the truth, we are looking at a major policing crisis. If the allegations against O'Sullivan are true, then we are looking at something even more dangerous. Either way, South Africa has a problem at the highest level of its security apparatus. And when the guardians of the law are fighting each other, who is guarding the public? Well, now I'd like to hear from you. Do you really believe O'Sullivan? Do you think this is a smear campaign rather? Or do you think there's a deeper power struggle inside SAPS and crime intelligence? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know what you think of this. And thank you for being with me up to this far. And from me to you, I am signing out. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching up to this far. Take care. Peace.